Hello, everybody. I'm Emmy Award-winning journalist Steve Jefferson, and welcome to Meet the Artist 2021, number 33. We are excited to highlight some of this year's artists and authors and their works. Please join us as we glean some information about this year's artists.
Hello, my name is Omar Rashan. I am a visual artist / creative. I work in the medium of digital art, and I'm a traditional artist as well, working with mediums, mixed medium work as a visual artist as well. I've always been a traditional artist, which is dealing with pencil, color pencil, paint, and things of that nature. To step into the digital space is really, they work parallel, they work hand in hand. It was only right to even be able to express myself in that form because of where we at in the space that we in this world right now. I was blessed to have two spectacular women in my life who were naturally creative, and I was easily inspired by being around that type of energy growing up as a kid. I also remember early on, around 5 or 6, my mother literally buying me an art kit, setting it in front of me, and just letting me have at it. And through that, I've always been able to express myself. Being a young artist, moving from a southern town, which is Evansville, is where I'm originally from, moving to Indianapolis, I had aspirations that, based on how I traveled early on, I had aspiration thinking that Indianapolis was going to be really embracing the arts, Black artists, things of that. And I ran into a roadblock. The culture was not there yet. As a young artist, I had heard about Tony Rafford. And at that time, I was definitely spiritually looking for a mentor because, like I said, I felt like there wasn't any representation in the community. And when I first heard that there was actually an event that's catered towards African American representation, I immediately went in, saw the event, was blown by, and couldn't believe that this is actually going on in our city. And I found my way to Tony. And when the opportunity presented, he was able to see my work. He tapped me on my shoulder, and when my name was called, I just showed up. This year, I wanted to have a different approach. I wanted to push the envelope for other creatives to not only look at what we traditionally have, but how we can interact with what's moving forward in the future. So what I'm presenting is a form of my traditional work, but also I'm presenting my graphic design / commercial design part of me. And what I'm presenting is augment reality. So when you approach my piece, you'll be able to read the cue card, follow the instructions, literally download the app within 2 seconds. You'll have the app on your phone. You point your phone at the artwork, and voila, it'll present something to you. What has happened over the past year, I wouldn't say it has impacted my work. It has impacted my thought process and how I'm going about I'm moving forward as an artist. And I can explain a little further. What it did made me channel in on how to scale back and focus on the things that are more important in order to grow as an artist, meaning refining my websites, registering my business in a way that it functions in a way that it caters to collectors, other artists who are inspired, who wants to make an investment in my artwork or want to make an expression in the journey. My business model has changed, and now I'm actually generating, like when there's downtime as an artist and I'm just creating, people are still buying and purchasing because I have now positioned myself for that opportunity. And COVID-19 has helped me do that through, whether it's through grants, whether it's through more artists, more opportunities as an African American artist. It definitely has opened doors for me to move forward in my thinking. Meet the Artist is much needed. It's a blessing that this is existing. It's a blessing that everybody who's playing a role in it is playing a role. I don't even think that everybody understand how powerful this is going to be 10 years from now. All the intricate hands is playing a role, all the multifaceted backgrounds there's implementing their expertise. This is so vital and so important. And this is what community building really looks like. It's not about color, it's not about the race, but it's working together to help a common entity get to that place that they're trying to get to. And so it's a blessing to be a part of something of that nature.
I'm Linda Everett, and I am the author of I Still Hear the Drums. I Still Hear the Drums is a fictional saga of a young Black girl captured in Africa, and it's her life story throughout slavery in the Americas. The title I Still Hear the Drums comes from her living her life and reflecting back on the drum sounds of home. And that was what sustained her throughout her life in slavery. The book has really taken over, and we're surprised when it won the Authors Academy Award for 2019 for historical fiction. I think the hardest part about publishing it was my procrastination on finishing it. The pandemic has really helped with my writing, making me concentrate and stay focused on a story that I'm trying to get out. I Still Hear the Drums is based loosely on what we know as fact. The books that I have, or the book that I plan to have coming out soon, is more factual because it's the stories that are evolving currently. It's modern times, and it's reflective of what's going on now from a viewpoint of, I guess, an older woman. It's a viewpoint of where we have been and where we should go. It really warms my heart when I get reviews. Reviews are, to me, better than the price of the book because I know people really took the time, and that's something you can't get back. So I've had several people tell me that my book, I Still Hear the Drums, brought them to tears, and that it's a tough read on the heart. But I tell them it is as true to life as we know it to be. So when I would want someone to get from my book what I pour into it, which is I pour all of me into it. So when someone says they enjoy it, I know they truly got what I was trying to convey.
Hello, my name is James Pade, and I'm a visual artist, and I reside in Dayton, Ohio. And I work in a range of mediums from simple graphite to oil paint, and that includes acrylic paint and scratchboard and charcoal. So I like to sort of jump around with mediums in order to express a thought or a feeling. I have three drawings. One is a scratchboard multi-panel drawing of a portrait of a famed NBA basketball player, Kobe Bryant, who was tragically came to a demise in a helicopter crash about a year or so ago. I also have a piece of work that's called Winter Suit, and it's a charcoal drawing, fairly a large format charcoal drawing, that sort of deals with the this idea of it being winter year round for African Americans and their experience pretty much in this country. Winter being a metaphor for harder time. I have a piece called Master's Piece, which is sort of like this spotlight on the visual artists ourselves, where it has a artist clutching a palette, and he's surrounded by some of the African American master art, Charles White, the Jacob Lawrences of the world. So it's called Masters.
Hi, I'm Lauren Beaver. I am an author and an artist. I just published a book last year. It's a coloring book. I wanted to show inspirational Black artists and entrepreneurs and show children and adults alike what people of color have done for the world. So this book is a lot of people that we already know, and it's kind of an introduction and a reminder. But the next one that I'm doing is more people that we aren't really aware of. I want to do more activists and just current day things, so people have a reminder and inspiration. I have always enjoyed different forms of artwork and recently decided to make something more accessible for people to join in on artwork. So I wanted to make images of all sorts of people that inspire me. Textile art is the medium that I have for Meet the Artist this year. I do a lot of canvas artwork. This is the first year that I have presented dolls. I've noticed that a lot of dolls do not show big varieties of kids and adults. I want to have the options of having everybody have dolls that look more like them, natural hairstyles, different pigmentations, and just attire in general. The news has definitely impacted my art recently. My coloring book also, there's a lot of people in it that have been activists and everything else too. My dolls have changed throughout the year also, just due to everything going on in life. I have dolls that represent protests and just other things that we didn't really see a lot of before, or it was hidden or whatever. My mother was in Meet the Artist when I was a kid, and she did a Harriet Tubman quilt piece, and I loved it. It was a take on Jacob Lawrence, and actually that's the cover of my book also. He's one of my favorite artists because of my mother. She's an amazing artist, and she showed me so much in the art world, and I kind of just continued from that as a young child. When people come and see my artwork, I want them to see how amazing all people of color are. I think that there is a lot of negativity that is thrown at us constantly, and I want it to be a reminder of how amazing people have been, and an inspiration to do more for themselves too.
Hello, how you doing, everyone? My name is Keith Bullock. I am a metal sculpture artist here with Meet the Artist this year. I got started with Meet the Artist about 1998, I think. I met Tony Radford at the Marion County Public Library, and it was a great experience from there. He introduced me to a couple of the artists in Indianapolis, and we've been networking ever since. The last Meet the Artist celebration we done, I had the opportunity to collaborate with a couple other artists and come up with some different concepts. They paired me with a fashion designer and a model. So we had to incorporate some of the steel sculptures with the fashion and clothing. So that was a pretty good experience. For this year's show, I decided to submit two pieces. One is called Ground Zero, and the other one is The Fireman. I actually featured Ground Zero in one of the prior shows, but I thought that this year it would be a great opportunity to reintroduce that particular piece. It's a piece centered around the whole globe. And with this global pandemic that we have going on now, it seems like it's a suitable piece to reintroduce to everyone. Well, I've always been a artist, whether it be painting, pencil, but I learned how to do visual art when I went to Camp Atterbury to learn how to do welding. And after I completed my welding training, I was just about rounding up my training, and I was just wanted to get into something different. And I always use art as a form of relaxation. So just mixing the two, the welding skills and the artistic capabilities just came natural. And I produced a couple different sculptures while I was a student at Camp Atterbury. I find inspiration for my art and in everything, every conversation I have, every experience I ever experienced. Because like I said, I always use art as a form of relaxation. So I'm always looking to create. I have a peculiar sort of mind like that. I can just find art in anything. And everyone can be an inspiration to me, actually. Sometimes we use art to, like I said, heal. Sometimes we use art to express emotions, and you can't help but to have those events that come up in our everyday life come out in the particular artwork. You know, sometimes it's therapeutic for not just the artist, but the people as well, to see that, you know, we making it through it. Although we struggle, we're not struggling alone. So we can, as long as we can continue to express ourselves and get it out in the open where we can all have a constructive dialogue about it, then it's helpful to not just us, but everyone.
We have some great artists this year, as you can see. Make sure you stop by Central Library and some of our neighborhood branches to view the exhibits.